on a hill with a valley down below, and a German soldier was trying to work his way across that valley, and a guy in a tank with a 50 millimeter machine gun was firing at him, just falling. And the unbelievable part about it, he never hit him. He made it all the way. He may have gotten wounded, but he made it all the way across.
If he got hit, you would have.
One boy that was sitting in front, he said, held his hand out, and I said yes. He said, Mr. Myers, how did it feel when you shot your first German soldier? And I thought for a minute, oh shit. I said, well, my answer may be completely different than what you are thinking about. I said, I was in a rifle company, and I said I was in a mortar section. And I said, when we would move up to the line, we always went up in double file on each side of the road, about 5 to 10 yards apart. But when we went into a defensive position, we would spread out. And I said 200 men would spread out over maybe a half a kilometer wide. I said, you would fire in the direction of the enemy. You seldom ever fired at a specific person. But I said, let's suppose that you did fire at that soldier, that German, and you saw him fall, and you thought to yourself, oh, I shot him. But I said, did you? 200 other men on the same line may have been firing that same thing. So I said, to be real honest to you, I can't say that I ever shot a German soldier for sure, because there were 200 other people firing in that same direction at the same time.
That was a good answer.
And he said, well, thank you. I've often wondered, you know, how you would feel. I said, I really can't tell you. I was 26 years old, and I was a lot older.
You should have known better.
When I went to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, I had a first sergeant in the group that was a regular Army man, and he was a Polish fellow. And he said to me, he said, Myers, volunteer for a squad leader. I said, hell, I don't know anything about a squad leader's job. He said, volunteer for a squad leader's job. He said, you don't have to do KP. He said, you'll never have to do KP. So by God, I did. I started out there with the second day I was in the Army as a squad leader. And when I got to my camp in Fort Hood, Texas, why, the sergeant there asked, he said, has anybody been a squad leader up to this point? And I said, yeah, I have. Come on. So I was an acting squad leader from the time I got in the Army, and I never had to do KP. One day the captain said, we're just going to talk. He said, it's time to talk. He said, if you got any complaints, he said, give them to me. I said, Captain, every company down the line have fried eggs on Sunday morning. And I said, all we have is those goddamn baked eggs in a pan. I said, isn't there some way that we can have fried eggs? He said, there's no reason why we can't. So he goes back, and he was company man. He told the chef, by God, fix fried eggs on Sunday morning. Well, when the staff sergeant, who was the chef, he asked around who the hell made the suggestion, and they said,
mistake number 2.
Sergeant Myers, squad leader Myers. And So I was in the barracks. We'd come in, and I was in the barracks. And he said, Sergeant, get your ass over to the kitchen. I said, what for? He said, just go over there. I got a job. Well, instead of that, the next thing I knew, I was washing those goddamn pans. Well, first sergeant came over to eat, and he saw me. Come back in, and he says, what the hell are you doing in here? I said, Staff Sergeant. I said, he put me in here because I made the suggestion for Friday on Sunday morning. He said, put those goddamn pans down and come with me. We went out and he chewed that Staff Sergeant's ass out. He said, he's a squad leader. He isn't a goddamn handyman. He said, you do a trick like this again, and he said, by God, you'll be doing KP. That Staff Sergeant, he would never ever talk to me again when I'd come through the line.
I wonder he didn't poison yours.
Pancakes and strawberry preserve. They said, we're so close to the enemy that they said we couldn't use mess kits tonight. Just hold your hand out, and they put 2 pancakes in your hand. Some guy helped the line. He said, I get goddamn strawberries all over my hands. He said, there's plenty of snow here to wash
A group of us was going to give us a hot meal. Miss a little bit of town. So we would all come in to march back in this little town, and we're all waiting on the sides for the damn vehicles to come. Well, here comes a damn Jeep pulling a little trailer behind it. And here come another one, and had food on there, hot. And had don't have coffee. Told us to get her under mess kits and all that stuff. And I said they'd have mess kits. And pulled all that crap right in there, you know. So about the time all of us got in line, no, down, right in the damn time. Blowed that shit all over the head. Not running down basement. Blowed the vehicle. That's one day I felt sick.